Hi, I'm Gardner, the Linux Gamer. 2016 has been the best year for Linux gaming, ever. I curated a list with 8 categories and left it up to you guys to decide which game came out on top, and you didn't disappoint. There were over 400 responses over the last 2 weeks, with clear winners in each category. First, let's start with Best DLC. Beating out Rocket League, Chaos Run, and Stellaris' Leviathan Pack, you guys voted for Cities Skylines Natural Disasters as Best DLC of 2016. Next up, we have Best Soundtrack. The competition was stiff this year, as games like Hyper Light Drifter, Stardew Valley, and Stellaris all had phenomenal soundtracks. But there was one clear winner. And yes, Jojo Konono, you voted for it, and I agree with you. Undertale had the best soundtrack of the year with about 35% of the vote. Truthfully, we had so many visually striking titles this year that I found this category to be the hardest to pick nominees for. We had titles like Hitman Go, Don't Starve Together, and Hyper Light Drifter, each with their own effective and unique design. But the game that truly rose above all others and left an indelible impression upon my mind, and apparently yours as well, was Firewatch, the winner of the Best Design category, with 46% of the vote. Then came Best Multiplayer. Again, there were many applicants to this category, but I picked 4 games I felt exemplified the best multiplayer Linux had to offer in 2016, whether local or online. Games like Pac-Man 256, Speedrunners, and Don't Starve Together were apparently no match for the winner of the best multiplayer category, Rocket League. With nearly 70% of the overall vote count, this is an unarguable victory for the rocket-powered football tournament of cars. Best Indie Latecomer is a special category I felt was necessary to recognize games that made a late appearance on Linux. And so far, your feedback's been positive. There are 4 games on this list: Super Time Force Ultra, Black Mesa, Undertale, and Rocket League. With 53% of the vote, Rocket League takes the Best Indie Latecomer crown. Best AAA Latecomer was perhaps the most competitive category of them all, featuring 4 hard-hitting and well-established franchises showing up on Linux this year. Titles like Mad Max, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and Life is Strange all made their penguin-flavored debut this year, and they seem to capture a fair amount of the Linux community. But with 34% of the vote, the winner of the Best AAA Latecomer was decidedly Tomb Raider. Best Indie Game features titles that had a simultaneous or near-simultaneous release on Linux and other PC platforms. Cluster Truck and Hyper Light Drifter took a backseat to the other nominees, Firewatch and Stardew Valley, and their struggle for dominance. I watched for days as these 2 games would pass each other for first place. It was quite an enthralling process, actually. But now that the ballot box is closed, the question still remains: who won? The winner of Best Linux Indie Game 2016, with 34% of the vote, is Stardew Valley. And finally, we come to the last category, Best AAA Game. There was heated debate, and this category had the largest proportion of write-in votes, even if you count that one guy who voted for Witcher 3 in every single category. These 3 games, plus Deus Ex, but we'll get to that in a second, represent the new work that big publishers and developers have brought to Linux this year. There were 3 nominees: XCOM 2, Tyranny, and Stellaris. With just about 50% of the vote, Stellaris is the best AAA Linux game of 2016. Congratulations to all the winners. I want to say thank you to Heidekin, who pointed out in the announcement video that I made an error. Deus Ex Mankind Divided should have been in the Best AAA category and not the Best Latecomer category, because it was released in the same calendar year as the Windows version of the game. Based on the polling, I think we can assume that the game wouldn't have won Best Game of the Year, but I didn't want to change it while the poll was going on. It wouldn't have been fair, really. But thank you, Heidekin. You're awesome. If you guys enjoyed this video or you disagree with the results, you can leave a comment down below or tweet at me at the Linux Gamer. You can also support the work that I do over on Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.
Nailed it.
Nailed it! Or I don't say the actual line.
Your outtakes must be hilarious.
Indie Latecomer crown.
Do that.
Okay. Rocket League! That's a joke. Whether local or online. Nice.
Did it!